Hello and welcome into another edition of the Eagle's Eye here on AUTV 20. My name's Noah Cloonan and today I'm joined by the Assistant Athletic Director, Rachel O'Connor. Rachel, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, Noah.
Rachel, that title of Assistant Athletic Director is something that is new to you. You've been here for about 6 years working inside the athletic department, but that's a new position for you. How have you gone about adjusting to that, not only on a personal level, but also in the entire athletic department?
Yeah, so it's new, it's about 2 weeks new. So I don't really know how I'm adjusting to it yet because we're still ramping up to host track and we still have a lot of things from this year left to complete. So it hasn't really sunk in quite yet, except for that, like we were joking about before, that my parents are very proud of that. So they know that that's something that I have wanted to do as studying, sports business in college. They knew that that was a career goal of mine, so they're excited, as am I. But right now, it really hasn't sunk in because we got a lot of things to do for the end of this year.
You've played a large role in the athletic department over the 6 years that you've been here, and the athletic department at Ashland is one of the top in all of Division II as far as how these teams are able to compete, not only in the conference competition field, but also on a national level. What are your thoughts on how this season has gone, not only from our national champion wrestlers to our nationally ranked women's basketball team, but as a whole athletic department?
Yeah, and national champion Miles Pringle again in the 400, and he's going to try to do that again to repeat in the outdoor 400. He is amazing, and so this athletic department and this year has exceeded at least my expectations. I don't ever know coming in, all right, well, we're going to get 3 national champions this year and we're going to try to get 1 team one. It's not like that whenever you start the year, but as you continue to progress through the fall season and then the winter season, it's great to watch the development of the student athletes, and it's great to watch them realize what success they're going to bring for themselves or their programs. I really thought this year that football was amazing with hosting 2 playoff games. I like to do that. I know that sounds crazy, but my office handles all of the game day setup and organizing the chain gang and the ball crew and all of those little things from the ticket takers. And so it's really fun to be able to host those big events. And so it was great to host 2 of those games, and then it was great to host another regional tournament. I love it when our teams are so successful that we're at home because it means thousands of people get to come onto our campus and see what we get to see every day. It's a great place to be a student, and in my opinion, it's a great place to be a student athlete. So it's been a wonderful year so far.
With 2017-2018 school calendar year coming to a close, we start to look forward into next year, and it's going to be a little different on the athletics front as far as there's going to be 2 new sports added come the fall season, women's lacrosse and men's tennis, and then esports.
Right.
So talk about those new additions. Let's start with the lacrosse and the men's tennis.
Yeah, so lacrosse lacrosse and men's tennis are great additions because we already have the fields, we already have the court, and we already have really great support systems ready for those athletes to just kind of come in and assimilate really quickly. Lacrosse is becoming really big in this area, and tennis is really big in this area as well, and so I think it's going to be another opportunity to get some of our Ohio local kids, maybe some people from Michigan, onto this campus that might not have chose to go to Ashland without those opportunities. And so we're excited to add a couple spring sports in there and have some more home events in the spring, because right now we basically have baseball and softball that we have at home. Track competes across the state of Ohio typically, and only has 1, maybe 2 home meets a year. So this will be fun to give our fans another opportunity to sit in the stands in the spring, as long as we have weather-wise a better spring than we did this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you look at esports. Typically when you talk about athletics, it's not one of the things that comes to the forefront of your mind, but over the last year or 2, that has been something in the United States as a whole, really, that has become increasingly popular, and Ashland is kind of on the forefront of that initiative as far as adding an esports team to their athletics department. Talk about that esports team and what we should expect next year.
So just a little bit of background, we're one of 66 schools that are a part of NACE, and that's the National Association of Collegiate Esports. And so that's basically the version of the NCAA that we'll kind of compete in. There are other schools that have esports that aren't a part of NACE. They don't have that partnership for whatever a reason. So we're one of 66 that are underneath this NACE umbrella, which is pretty cool. But as far as what esports brings, I mean, it is a lot of what you feel when you have athletics. It's competitive, it's high energy, it's intense, and it's another opportunity for someone to expand what they like to do. And I understand that video games is far less physical, but having a good mental game is something that we talk about in golf and tennis and some of those individual type sports. And so, you know, working on those areas is still something that we can, as an athletic department, really support, where they might not have gotten that same type of support in just, you know, being a club across campus. And so we're really going to be able to work with them at an athletic training standpoint, at a strength and conditioning, managing your mental game, and really giving them an opportunity to do something afterwards. One of the largest industries that hire esport athletes after college, I'll give you a guess. Do you know what industry it is?
I don't.
It's the United States military.
Wow.
So I understand that people think that this is kind of crazy, but the government doesn't. And I know we shouldn't always trust the government. That's fine. But they hire these people to fly drones and to do some of these more tech savvy things. And so it's a great opportunity. Get a college education, become a part of this awesome community that is Ashland University, and then get an amazing job afterwards. That's what college is about. So, I mean, I'm excited to see how it maturates, and we're already off to a really good start.
Absolutely. And Ashland, especially the athletic department, has got a lot of recognition nationwide from really big kind of things in the gaming industry about this institution of an esports team. Talk about how that has really brought good publicity to the university as a whole.
Yeah, Fortnite is just going crazy right now, and I admit I don't know how to play it, as I don't know how to play many of the esport games. But I know that a lot of people like to play it, and not just in this state or in this country, but worldwide. And I mean, it's a global phenomenon, and people just want to play Fortnite. And so, you know, when Josh Buchanan, our esport head coach, sat down with Al King and said, "Hey, we need to look at more recruiting opportunities. We're starting this program from scratch. We don't have the facility yet. We have the ideas in our head, but we don't have the facility quite yet." And so we're trying to think, how else can we show that we want to be innovative, that we want to be cutting edge? It's not just how to, add an esport program and then you have what you need. No, you need to show these young students that we want to support you, and we want to show that we care about what you want, and that's Fortnite. And so while Fortnite's not actually an esport game yet, it still shows that we want to give opportunities that maybe other people haven't seen yet. And that's Fortnite. And so will we be able to bring in all these Fortnite players and that's the only thing they do? No. But that means that they might get better at League of Legends and Overwatch or Hearthstone or Rocket League. And so now they've come to school to be a part of this Fortnite craze, but yet they're getting better at something else, and they're still getting an education on top of that. And I mean, Josh was on Good Morning America. He has an interview with ESPN later today. And it's just, it's amazing. The publicity that this university is getting from it is outstanding. And I mean, it's one of those things where, like, we couldn't pay for advertising like that. I mean, just this organic decision to add something that we know hundreds of millions of people like to do, really cultivated the way that this has taken off. And I mean, we're glad that it has, and we're excited to see, what new faces it brings us in the fall.
It's definitely a really exciting addition to the athletic department, in my opinion. But my final question for you, in regards to that esports team that is being created here on campus, is where are they going to play, and what is that looking like?
Yeah, so they're going to play in the basement of the library. Right now, they've already started to kind of take out some of the computers that were already there. It's also, the library function also has a couple classrooms in there. So we'll just be in the middle that's kind of enclosed by glass. And our facilities department, our building services, have amazing plans. And they've already started really conceptualizing what this is going to look like. And what they want to do is they want to make it and tailor it to where some of these kind of cool facilities look like in Japan. And so, it's a little bit more modern, but industrial at the same time. And so they have these really cool plans for some recessed lighting and some neon purple glows to do some really cool things with the logos. We're working with Continental Office, who did that amazing mural that we put up in the gym, that we're working on some pieces for the esport the esport area in the basement of the library now too. So, you know, our hope is that soon that we grow out of that place. But as for right now, we'll play in the basement of the library, and they're working on, you know, making sure that we have access to that for later hours than what the library might be open. And, you know, we're working with JDM to see how do we start streaming these types of things. And so it's looking pretty cool right now, and we're excited to see how it's going to be when it's done. And that'll be done sometime this August, which is crazy to think that we have hands on campus that can just redo a complete room in a couple months. So it's neat. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it has been a very exciting year for Ashland Athletics, and it looks like next year's going to be very much of the same thing. So, Rachel, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Noah.
That has been Rachel O'Connor, the Assistant Athletic Director here at Ashland University. Once again, thank you for tuning into this edition of the Eagle's Eye. My name is Noah Cloonan. You are watching AUTV 20.